Sunday, Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days. Thursday, Friday, happy days. The weekend comes, my cycle hums, ready to race to you. These days are happy days. These days are share them with me. Goodbye gray sky, hello blue. There's nothing can hold me when I
Oh, welcome to all our viewers and Keith Anderson, Warwick Gazette. How are you, Keith?
Good. Chris, General Manager of the Gippsland League. Chris Lamels.
Look, round 15 we had the finish up of that, and we had one interesting game, one not so interesting. We'll go first with Morwell Drawn. Morwell had a comfortable victory over Drawn, 28-12, 180 to Drawn 8-6-54.
Was that the interesting game, was it? Really competitive first quarter and quite entertaining the first quarter in what was a very cold and windy day, which it was throughout Gippsland. But after that, and Harmon kept his players at the quarter time huddle there for an eternity, and anyway, whatever he said to them, it worked. They just took right over from doing it. Was a side that's a really strong side against a side that's really battling and, you know, a bit inevitable as to the outcome.
Yeah, and I see Harmon, he moved himself up forward and...
No, he didn't.
Well, he's kicked 5 goals,
Yeah,
so he must have been all on the run, were they?
No, he followed his opponent down.
Okay.
At stages where you had every player on the ground.
Okay, and I see Dean McDonald, he did some special things throughout the day. He's been named the best. He kicked 5 as well. So their goal kicking was very potent. And, you know, Joel Suter, he's had a good year. Jeff Ryan, young Mannon Johnson, and Adam Bailey starting to come back into it a fair bit. So they're looking really good at the moment.
Well, a couple of things I sort of took particular notice of there on...
Was that from inside the rooms looking out that glass?
Yes, trying to keep out of the cold. But they had that fantastic run. They kicked 13 goals from 13 shots, none out of bounds, with a huge crosswind that, you probably reckon you might get,
Did you count how many inside 50s?
2 out of 5. No, don't go into those silly stats because 49 metres gets the same stat as if you landed in the goal square. But the accuracy was really terrific in those in that wind, and I don't know. I reckon I counted 9 or 10 blokes. They ran through the midfield, and it's something which I think Harmon Singh has built into the side to give more players time through the midfield. It gives them depth. So they get an injury or two. They've had guys who have been through there. And I thought, like Manning Johnson was a classic example. They're building this year to do his midfield work as well as just be down the forward line and sneak his few goals, which he still does pretty well. Yeah. But he's added a bit by having his turn in the midfield. So I think they're building pretty well, and Harmon told me on Saturday night, yes, the Lockyer and the Rocket are definitely part of his finals plan.
Okay, and then we had the interesting game because this was second versus third. Mafra...
third versus fourth.
Third, fourth, sorry.
It was round 15.
More second, but anyway. Mafra were hosting Terrelgan, and it was quite vital for either one to win to keep that second chance. And Mafra's come out 15-10, 100 against Terrelgan 12-8, and whilst Darren Sheen was held to 2, but then you look at their other 2 forwards, Bedgegood 3, Adrian Burgill 3, and then Benny Coleman, their midfielder, sneaking in for 3.
Yeah, but it's not a matter of somebody getting out there and kicking 8 goals a week or doing that, but they've got 8 goals between those 3 key forwards. As you said, and they've done their job. But yeah. I think Adrian and Darren Sheehan were both named in the better players. So, obviously he had a fair bit going, but my understanding was that particularly that first half, the Mafra defence and their on-ball was running in support of the defence, going back to help them was a really big factor in them getting away to that match-winning lead at half-time.
Yeah, well, so we find Mafra has moved into third spot, and now Traralgon's got the job ahead of them to actually displace them. But we'll go to round 16, and this.
Well, Wonthaggi's still out of the hunt to get up to third place either. You know, there's a lot of funny results that could, and there's a lot of 8-point games between now and the finals, so it'll be very interesting.
Yeah, no, well, I think, you know, unfortunately for the interest in the league in terms of anyone sneaking into the finals has probably been shot now, but the actual, as you say, the make-up of the five is definitely still up for grabs. So we Wonthaggi are hosting Bairnsdale this week.
Yeah, well, long trip for Bairnsdale. They had some of their good players out in the last round, but their game was a fortnight ago, so hopefully they come up. Interesting, Wonthaggi probably still a bit below strength, and they'll just be hoping to get through. They've probably got, you know, on paper the easier run of the others in the finals, and I think they'll just be trying to get through. Maybe, you know, if they get a chance to sneak into third spot, grab it, but hopefully get a full side on the deck by the come finals time.
Yeah, well, I mean, out of the 3 games left, they're obviously Bairnsdale, then they've got, check this, they've got Mafra, which will be a blockbuster, and then they finish off with Druin. So you would imagine that they're going to pick up 2 wins there and try their hardest for a third. But anyway, the next game, Warragul are hosting Maui. Well, this will be a pretty close fought game. You've got the 10th versus 8th, but they'll be both fighting for that, you know, their next victory. So that should be an interesting game as well. Yeah,
there was only 2-point gap when they played earlier in the season. Warragul got over the line in that game at Maui. It's just a matter of how the sides sort of really line up this week. I saw Warragul over at Leongatha in the last round. They were really good for a half. They ran out of a bit of steam, but they had, you know, a couple of their keys in Captain Matt Gray and Chris Carey as late withdrawals on the Saturday morning. So I think they should get over the line in this one. It would give them 6 wins for the year. Yeah. They probably would rate themselves a chance against Bairnsdale, even though they've got to travel to Bairnsdale the week after. But it's certainly been a big lift for Warragul on what it's been the last couple of years.
Well, one of the things with Warragul too, I mean, that bit which we'll make a point of next week, but the Bairnsdale Warragul game in round 17, that's actually a night game.
Yep.
So Warragul's actually promoting that as come up to the Bairnsdale and stay for the weekend. So maybe Bairnsdale might be giving them a bit of a kickback from the Traders Association.
Early end of season trip.
Okay, then we have, we'll leave that because that's a Sunday game, but we'll go to Traralgon hosting Druin. The Hawks have got a hard one there, I think, because Traralgon will be still trying to stay in the hunt, and I would suggest they'll be all guns firing, and especially after losing to Mafra at Mafra.
Yeah, well, I think of all the scenarios you go through as to who might finish in that really important third position and get the double chance, all the scenarios you go through, I keep coming back to this could very well be decided on percentage.
Yeah.
So I don't think Druin can expect any favours from Traralgon this week. And, last game for Druin.
Robert John, the coach,
Robert John. Moving on to Saudi Arabia, which I'm not sure is the greatest place to go through, given the American government's warnings about things that could happen in the Middle East in the near future. But anyway, that's where he's off. I wish him well on that endeavour.
Well, he's probably going from one minefield to another one.
Yeah. I think he did. I think he did say to me after Saturday's game that do they play football in Saudi Arabia? But I think he's hoping they don't.
Okay, we've got Morwell hosting Leongatha, and I mean Leongatha's coming off 4 wins in a row.
Yep.
Eager to cause some more upsets in the last 3 rounds. So Morwell's going to have to be really ready, and I'm sure Leongatha, as they're getting more back from injury and fellas that have been out for a while and they've been playing a couple of games, I think this will be a really hot game.
Well, I think it will be, and as you say, Leongatha's probably fielding their best sides they've had for the year. But still, I think Moore will look pretty good to me, and at home, I don't expect them to get beaten. I think they'll just have that little bit of really confidence in themselves that makes a difference if they're threatened. Whenever I've seen Moore this year, I've thought, well, they'll be right amongst it at the business end of the season, and they won't want to drop this one.
Well, they've got a really good tune-up for the finals, haven't they? Leongatha, then the next week they host Traralgon, and then they finish off with a nice soft one against Sale.
Yeah, I think the message is that Rocker and Lockyer will be there for the Traralgon game.
Okay, well an away game on a Sunday. Oh, well, we'll see what happens. All right, we finish off this weekend with Sale hosting Maffra, and this is probably the number one local derby in the league. They always get a huge crowd. Sale's on top of the ladder, floating along very well, only lost 1. Maffra have won 10, lost 5, but when the village travels to the city, they don't, they're trying the best to knock off those Sale blokes, so this will be a blockbuster that everyone in the area will come to.
Well, you mentioned Sale's only lost 1 game, but they did happen to beat Maffra. Maffra will be really keen to head into the finals with a 2-zip record against Sale, as they have against Traralgon now. I just think this will be a superb game, and probably the match of the year to this stage, because it's so important for Maffra to win. To hold on to that double chance, and it is August. It is coming up September, and somewhere Maffra seems to
always pick up something. Yeah, they find something.
But they're very evenly matched teams. I was having a thought about it today, and they've both got really good defences. They've both got really strong midfields. They've both got firepower up forward. So.
Could it be a shootout?
A big high-scoring game? No, I don't think so. I don't think it'll be 19 goals to 17 or something.
Do you think it'll be whoever has the superior press, or?
I don't know, but you never know. If it happens to pour down with rain, that could throw all plans out the window. But you really, Sale hasn't put many steps wrong this year. Hard to pick against them, but
you just never know with Maffra. You just never know.
I'm not prepared to have a side wager on this one.
Well, look, the interesting thing whilst we wrap up, in all 4 grades, there's actually 9 teams that look like being represented in the finals, and then the one team that hasn't got any final or teams in the final top 5 is Leongatha, but then they've got a few in the netball. So come finals time, we'll have all 10 clubs represented in some shape, way or form.
Yeah, well, that's really good, but
I thought you'd be excited.
Yeah, I am. Well, absolutely thrilled to the back teeth, and but I didn't realise it was Leongatha probably won't have a footy side in the finals, and that's a very, very rare occurrence. I think they won the reserve last year.
Under 18s the year before, I think.
Yeah, despite their issues last year, got to the preliminary final in the seniors. So
All right, with that, we'll call that quits for preview of round 16. And as we say, there's every game has got some interest in it this week, and hopefully the weather's fine and everybody travels and to see a great game of footy and netball at the highest level in Gippsland. And thank you very much, and hopefully we'll see all of you and more next week.